What's up, YTPC? This is DSG Pipe Smoker with another pipe smoking video. I am smoking. Oh, yes. I found it. This is my Royal Guard pipe that went missing, and I found it. And in it, I've got some Royal Guard. Remember how I said the tobacco expands on Haunted Bookshop? There you go. That might actually be the first false light on this channel. How about that? I am also drinking some decaf coffee because it is 7 o'clock, something like that. And I gotta keep this video a little bit short, or as short as I can, because late fall up here in Alaska. The sun's starting to go down more and more every day. But today's video is going to be on tongue bite. Now, it's going to be a list of 10 tips that I have on the subject. And before I get into my 10 tips on tongue bite, mainly tongue bite prevention, little disclaimer for you guys. I am not an expert. Sorry about that, I had to go grab something. That's why I paused. I went, oh shit, I forgot it. But all is good. Where was I? Oh yes, I'm not an expert. Not sponsored by anybody to say what I'm gonna say in the video. I am still learning myself. And what else? Everything in the video is what I have learned through my own research and a lot of my own personal experience. Many of the things that I'm going to list in my list of 10 tips for tongue bite are, like I said, personal experience, some theories of mine, and just some things that I have heard in general on the topic. That being said, the first 3 or 4 are going to be things that I think we can all agree on. It's just general tips for pipe smokers that seem to be regurgitated. Everything else all the way up to 9 will be personal theories of mine and some personal experiences of mine. And then the last one, I think, will be something that I feel is very, very important that doesn't get touched on as much as I think it should. So with all the disclaimers out of the way, let's get into the list, shall we? Number 1, good smoking mechanics and technique. Now, most people will equate that with smoke slow. In my experience with tongue bite, and I'm pretty sensitive when it comes to tongue bite, yes, that helps, but you also need to be aware, you know, if you're going to smoke a tobacco that tends to bite, of the volume of smoke that you have, how well you packed it, you know, how often you're relighting, how hot you're getting the tobacco to begin with. Also, in theory, and I say this because I don't have the particular pipes that I'm going to talk about, so I can't verify for for sure, but from what I've been told and what I've heard, calabashes, reverse calabashes, and what are they called? Church wardens. Those pipes have smoking mechanics such that they allow for the smoke to cool down enough that when you go to smoke your pipe, it'll cut down on tongue bite. So that's number one. Get all of your smoking mechanics, get your technique down, and make sure your pipe has good smoking mechanics too. Number two, moisture content. From what I've experienced, the perfect moisture content will keep an even burn and will allow for a cool smoke that still produces a lot of good flavor. If the tobacco is too wet, you will have to heat up the tobacco way more than you would if it were drier, and it tends to produce a lot of hot moisture that can get on your tongue. Speaking from experience on that shit sucks. I would try to avoid it as much as possible. On the other side of the equation, tobacco that is too dry will tend to burn way too fast. And it'll kind of be like kindling. You know, it'll burn really hot and really fast, and because it's burning really hot, or because it has a tendency to light very easily and stay hot very easily, that could contribute to tongue bite as well. Number three, avoid tobaccos that give you tongue bite. Now, this isn't just tobacco genres. This is also brands. You're going to have to find for yourself which brands you like, but from what I've heard, some people just can't handle certain brands. I think one brand that gets thrown around as being quite bitey is Mac Baren. That being said, some tobacco genres have a tendency to bite harder than others. From what I've heard and what I've experienced, the ones that bite the hardest, or tend to bite the hardest, because really all tobaccos have a potential to bite, are Virginias, straight Virginias that is, Virginia Periques, and aromatics. Whereas the blends that tend, or the genres of tobacco that tend not to bite as hard and are actually on the other end of the spectrum and they smoke very cool, are Black Cavendish, unflavored Black Cavendish with no casing, Latakia, and Burley. That being said, everybody's different. I know Brad from Stuff and Things hates aromatics. He can't smoke them, but he'll smoke a Virginia, you know? I can't smoke Virginias. I can smoke aromatics. It depends on the aromatic. Some of them will bite, some won't. I just gotta find what works for me, you know, just like everybody else. Number 4. Oral health. Brushing your teeth often and using a mouthwash. The brand that, and I had to write this down because I knew I would forget it, the brand that people tend to list a lot is Biotene. I've tried Biotene and it's really good. I like it as a means of prevention, just daily oral rinse. However, there is one, and this is why I had to go back inside, because I forgot to grab it. This is what I use when I get tongue bite. The Natural Dentist Healthy Gums. The reason I use this is because it has aloe vera in it. And I have found that if I have mild tongue bite, this will heal it almost immediately, and it will take moderate tongue bite to go from healing in a week to 10 days to healing in about 3. So, yeah, oral health. Very important for tongue bite prevention and treatment of tongue bite. Number 5, smoking frequency. This kind of goes into, this can kind of go into smoking mechanics a little bit, but when I say smoking frequency, I'm talking about how fast you're smoking. I'm sorry, not how fast you're smoking. I don't know why I said that. How often you're smoking. Some people can get away with smoking 10 times a day every day. Some people can only do it, a couple of times on the weekends. You gotta find what works for you. This is supposed to be a relaxing hobby. It's not supposed to be a habit. So, enjoy the hobby as much as you can, but I don't think you should feel forced into smoking at a high frequency multiple times a day, every day. If you don't want to, So, moving on. Number 6. Before I move on, I'm sorry if I'm moving really fast. Like I said, the sun's been going down very rapidly today. I just got off work, and I want to get this video out while we still have this really great weather. But, number 6. Drinking something while you smoke. My theory is that if tongue bite doesn't happen instantly, if it happens because you're smoking too much, what'll happen first is it'll dry out your mouth. And I say that because that seems to happen to me. I don't know if it happens to you guys. Maybe you guys can comment down below. Do a VR, something like that. But nowadays, I don't smoke unless I have something to drink, even if it's just water. It seems to help prevent tongue bite, and if I'm smoking something that bites a little bit more than all of my other blends, like an aromatic or certain Virginia Periques, it'll cut back on that. Number 7, stem position in the mouth. This is purely hypothetical. I got this by, thinking like I normally do while I sit on my porch and just sit back and smoke, stare off into space. It would make sense to prevent tongue bite if instead of placing the stem like right here directly onto your tongue, that maybe if you placed it on the corner of your lip like this, like Matches 860 tends to do, maybe it won't produce as much tongue bite because it's not directly hitting the tongue, especially the tip of the tongue, where there's not much of the tongue, so there's less surface area and greater concentration of smoke can hit it. Just a pure theory of mine. Of course, Peterson has their P-lip series of stems, and their whole theory is that if you point it directly away from the tongue, how are you going to get tongue bite? Makes sense. Number 8. Avoid activities that may cause bad smoking mechanics. Some people can get away with, driving and smoking. I used to do that a lot. I have recently quit, though, because I've been getting tongue bite while doing it. You know, I'm not saying that, my personal decision to stop driving and smoking should be enforced throughout the rest of the community, but I am saying that as somebody who tends to be susceptible to tongue bite, I have found that cutting back on that seems to help out quite a bit in terms of preventing tongue bite. And moving right along. Number 9, watch for signs of tongue bite. Now, sometimes tongue bite can happen pretty much instantly, and there's not much signs you can watch for other than, ow, that fucking hurts. In fact, the first time I got tongue bite was pretty much instantaneous. I was smoking Virginia number 1 by, I think it's McBaron. Yeah, by McBaron. And the first time I smoked it, pretty much instantaneously, for those of you who have ever, you're using your lighter, okay, and let's say the wind is blowing the other way, and your thumb is right here, and the flame burns your thumb because the wind is going this way. I got that instantaneously, and then I got a stinging sensation that pretty much lasted a week. But speaking from personal experience, I have found that tongue bite is not always instantaneous. Sometimes it happens due to accumulation, and when I tend to get tongue bite from that, my mouth will get dry, and my tongue and the roof of my mouth will start to get kind of scratchy. Wrapping this up, last, but certainly not least, number 10. Don't be afraid to take a break. I take breaks from smoking a pipe all the time. I find that it helps with recovery in terms of healing from smoking. And it's especially needed if you do get tongue bite. If you do get tongue bite, just stop smoking. And a break doesn't have to be, a month or, a year. It can be a week, a few days here and there. Smoke a pipe because you enjoy it, not because you feel like you need the nicotine. I think anyways, and I have found that I can taste the tobacco a lot better doing that too. Well guys, my battery's about to die. Sun's going down very rapidly. I hope you enjoyed this. This has been DSG Pipe Smoker with another Pipe Smoking video. You guys have a great weekend.